frags that they have, as well as controlling the neutral objectives.
Well, we're into champ select for game number 2. CLG gonna ban away LeBlanc and Elise to start things off here. And FOX swapping over to the red side, gonna ban Zac, which is pretty much a mainstay on that side.
Yep, no surprises for any of the bans so far. The most common bans that we have in the North American LCS, and now the most common bans against CLG, still coming through, so not much variation from last game.
Right.
Only thing is that Counterlogic Gaming take away the Elise ban rather than FOX going for it.
And then actually, I'm gonna ban the cannon away, so respecting the power of the champion despite the loss. FOX just picked up on it. Kind of curious what the last ban is here for FOX though, because have to consider a lot as far as potential first pick. I mean, Galio maybe jumps to mind, but then you've got something like Caitlyn, Zyra, even if you kind of want to stitch that together. FOX instead decide on Shen, actually, so going for a top lane ban.
Yeah, Shen has been pretty popular here, especially for the early game cross-map plays that people have been able to pull off with him.
You know who else is good at cross-map plays, though? Plays in the top lane, pretty tanky.
Galio!
Yeah, Galio. I mean, I think CLG are kind of considering maybe between Caitlyn and Galio, or Gragas, never mind, I'm completely wrong, they'll go to their favorite flex.
Yeah, they were first picking Gragas a lot in week number 1, and Darshan was usually the guy on that champion. It's very possible to flex it, and that's one of the reasons why I do like the early picks on it and the priority here, because this is sometimes we have flex picks and we're like, oh, it could be played as support, but they're not truly threatening flex picks. The Gragas jungle top lane is one of the really threatening ones. I feel like Galio as well is the second one.
All right, Galio and Caitlyn, the 2 champions. I expected to be contested instead, maybe taken away by FOX.
I believed in you, Pastry, all along.
Thank you.
Just a little bit delayed.
Gonna stop draft analysis for a little while longer, though, I think. And there are the picks for FOX. Do manage to lock them in, so a solid start to their draft as well.
Yeah, and a little bit on the analyst test was touching on it. Caitlyn was banned out, so this time around, no ban on Caitlyn. And Keith will be able to have the extra range to work with, trying to abuse that lane phase, get some turret damage, and see if they can actually get first turret for FOX, or at least gain the momentum there and the control in the bottom lane to try and pull off those plays.
Well, a flex no longer. Fiora actually locked in for, I assume, Darshan.
Exactly. There's no longer a reason to keep the flex a mystery. As soon as you see the Galio, if Galio's in top lane, Fiora will absolutely smash him. So now it's on FOX. Do they want to flex this Galio to Froggen? And CLG actually, with this Fiora pick, are putting pressure on FOX to force a flex of the Galio to the mid lane, because Fiora can definitely do extremely well versus the tanks like Galio. Even though he tries to stay back far and farm the wave, she can pressure him almost all the way off it with a couple of good vital spawns even before she starts scaling. Yeah. And it's a very good path for Fiora to scale into.
Yeah, Fiora just wrecks Galio by the looks of, as we've seen so far. There's Varus picked up for CLG as Lee Sin, sorry, the last pick there for FOX. So Grigne gonna take it away from Dardoch. They did ban it in the last game. But again, another new look for Grigne, just staying in as another solid jungler.
And that's why I was so excited that they kept him in, because it's not just, oh yeah, he's the Ivern player and Acadian is the aggressive player. They have a lot deeper strategy here with their 10-man roster. They want all of their 10 players to be competitively viable, and that requires that you have a diverse champion pool with diverse styles. Lee Sin is one of my favorite soft, answers to a Fiora pick. Because you can pressure her early, you can get kills when she tries to go in for the vital attacks, and Galio also is decent at setting those up. So we'll see. FOX, it's risky to still keep the Galio top, but you technically can do it if you are dedicated to bringing that jungle pressure to try and even out the matchup. I still would think that they're maybe edging towards giving it to Froggen now, but it really does depend on how Froggen feels about the champion.
Well, phase 2 bans for FOX are supports, actually. Thresh and Bard going to be taken away from Aphromoo. But kind of curious to see Jace ban there for CLG. So maybe expecting what you are suspecting in that Galio will be going mid lane there for Froggen.
Yeah, CLG are not fooled. They still have kept in mind that the Galio could be flexed mid and ban out a few more top lane champions that would bully Fiora. So not only do you have to keep in mind how does Froggen feel about taking the Galio, but now, is it still worth it if the Renekton and Jace are both off the table as answers to Fiora?
Well, they are going to do it. There's actually Rumble picked up there for FOX. So unless something wacky is happening here in this champ select, it is going to be Galio mid for Froggen.
And this is a good one. Rumble, I like the early Rumble versus Fiora matchup. Jungle, again, plays such a big role in it, though, that you always have to worry about what is the next step in the game going to look like, because Fiora will 100% get to a stage where she split pushes far better than Rumble, and the Rumble team looks to force elsewhere on the map, looks to use the equalizer for the team fight presence. And this is kind of an interesting clash and differences in their team compositions. Zyra, meanwhile, getting locked in for a very powerful bottom lane for Counter Logic Gaming. A lot of actual kill pressure there and level 6 threat.
Yeah, it looks like last pick will be mid lane here for CLG, just kind of mulling over all the options Huhi has. It's not blind, he's likely into that Galio, but there's Orianna for Huhi.
Orianna, the most picked mid laner in competitive gameplay across all regions, and a very, very good all-around and safe pick. That being said, Syndra is available still if Froggen wanted to triple flex a Galio support.
Hey, Gate, how you feeling? Oh, look at Taliyah!
I did it!
Galio support!
I was close, I was close. Okay. The Galio is being triple flexed into support, but the Syndra is not the answer. Dang it, so close. Taliyah is going to be picked up instead. Again here for Froggen. We'll see if this time he can get off some more control and better roams.
What a fun draft.
Yeah.
So many back and forth moves, so many flexes, but in the end, Echo Fox on the red side will get the final counter.
See, that's why you always keep the door open for those Galio support flexes, even though it is a bit less likely.
I mean, look, if
Gate is the guy to do it.
I was going to say, if anyone was going to be ready with the more off-the-wall support choice, it is Gate, of course. This one, significantly more normal than the Sejuani he brought to the table last week.
Already been used in competitive, so it's not like a mind-blowing thing, but it is definitely low percentage. Let's see how Echo Fox can pull this one off, though, because they have a lot of mobility. You know, if your Galio can get the roam off in the mid-game, post-level 6, you know, supports going into Fog of War usually not as scary, but definitely going to have to worry about that one.
Yeah, certainly a lot of fun to see here. Echo Fox kind of assembled a bit more aggression in their early game. We'll see if they can use some of that to sort of get an advantage and take over the game. CLG on the other side, such a great team fighting comp with the 4, and then of course Darshan, something he's very used to here on a strong split pusher.
Definitely going to highlight the matchup of Grigne versus Dardoch once again. Super curious to see if they actually do play to their split pushing game plan here for Counter Logic Gaming, and you know, is Dardoch going to help get this Fiora off the ground and start snowballing in that top side, or is Looper going to have the classic push advantage with Rumble and get in with early wards?
Well, we'll find out soon, because Game 2, Echo Fox and CLG is starting right now. So out back onto the rift, CLG going to fan out here towards
the outback, huh?
Map.
Classic Pastry, slipping in the Australian references.
And then moving out here on the Fox side as well. Gate zipping away with the support Galio.
Welcome to Summer.
Looks like no plans just yet being cooked up, but you never know. Both of these teams actually have prepared some pretty wonderful level 1s this year already.
Yeah. I was curious if we were going to see Echo Fox go for some more rare level 1 setups, but not going to be the case here, and Grigne will just have a standard Lee Sin game. Probably start on his Raptors. Dardoch's looking to get his ward in there. Gragas plus Orianna is also a good Raptor start, as long as you time your barrel correctly on the Raptors and get the old leash there from Orianna. Pretty easy for him.
Yeah, don't want to do the mistiming and lose your Raptors. That happens too sometimes. But Darshan here on the Fiora. Definitely one of the Galio matchup, but Echo Fox again, flexing it all the way forward to move it down the bottom side. So we'll see how any interference maybe affects that top side matchup.
Let's say the exact timing, by the way. So for people at home, it's a 4-second maximum duration on your barrel, you know, for it to get fully fermented, I guess, would be a good word.
That is the flavor.
And then it's going to pop on its own. So you don't want to do it 4 seconds before Raptor spawn, which is 137, 138 if you really want to be safe. But technically 137. A little bit of a block there, but no problem.
Yeah, Dardoch taking those out quickly. 1Q from Huhi, able to help out.
Oh, look at Grigne. He might use that ward to hop over. Yeah, he is on the Lee Sin. So another sneaky little start here from the Lee Sin. He started red, and then they used the ward that they had behind the Rift Herald to go in for a very quick counter jungle on this blue buff. And what this does is protect the Rumble pushing. we were wondering if, oh, is Dardoch going to make an early route up to the top side to get this Fiora going and play into their split push strategy? Echo Fox, I like what Grigne is doing here. One step ahead, trying to cut off that strategy by removing a lot of the jungle resources on this side. It makes, even if Dardoch is able to get vision, it removes a lot of the incentive to be over here, and Grigne
might have been fighting. Froggen's actually moving over, and Grigne's level 3. Dardoch's on level 2. Double left there. The Q lands over Grigne. He's going to follow up Froggen. Roams around and gets first blood. Auto attack seals it.
Well played. Let's see if he can get out of it because Darshan is on the way.
Gonna need some help here. Not a whole lot forthcoming. Flashing. Grigne zips away, and there's the trade for Huhi, who also gets double buffs.
This is an interesting question. Would you rather have the first blood bonus gold or the double buff as opposed to just the red buff? I think the first blood bonus gold, even though spamming on Orianna is pretty threatening here with that blue buff. So take another look though. Really liked, again, we were talking about the invade, cutting off the options that CLG were going to go for, and he catches Dardoch after the blast cone. Then Dardoch actually flashes while the Q is still on him. He flashed so quickly, I think he was trying to flash the actual Q. Point blank, Lee Sin Qs are incredibly difficult to flash on. It's kind of a guessing game. He thinks he's going to throw it out about then, just slightly off. Then the double flashes are burned to get the counter kill there, and the ghost, by the way. So actually maybe he'll try and return to punish Huhi in the mid lane, who burned both his summoners there. We'll wait and give him some time to think about it.
Yep. Could be a buff transfer in the near future, perhaps. But I do like the invade a lot there, Frankie Fox, as we do have a pause, fingers crossed, briefly here in this second game. I mean, like you said, just very creative stuff here from Grigne. I mean, buff to buff sounds very standard, but doing it a different way here. Exactly.
And let's talk about the multiple ways that you can benefit from this, because you're not, every time you're doing this play, you're not looking for the first blood on the enemy jungler. This is not a strat designed around, oh, we're definitely going to kill Dardoch because he's 100% going to blast going over. There are redundancies built into this strategy. Okay, if you clear out blue buff and Gromp, the resources here on this quadrant of the jungle, even if Dardoch came over late and he came over in maybe a more safe way and saw that he had been counter jungled and hadn't committed to a fight or something, there would be no incentive for him to stick around on that top side, and he couldn't affect that Rumble Fiora matchup. And if you let the Rumble Fiora play out on their own, unaffected by jungle, and Rumble gets a big push advantage, and it's definitely bad times for Fiora and slows down her scaling. So it's kind of a win-win if you go for that jungle setup, and there's a lot of thought that really went into that start.
Yeah, wonderfully timed as well, because they even got the Gromp, so kind of really predicting Dardoch's level 1 route, it feels like, and able to punish almost to the maximum. Does get picked off at the end, unfortunately for him. Just a quick update, Gate is, I believe, asking about Relic Shield. He's saying that apparently he's not getting stacked, it's not activating properly.
Not giving him gold, yeah.
Don't exactly know why, but of course our team's looking into that, and we'll update you as soon as we know more on the situation. Definitely want to make sure that's working if you're playing a melee support.
Yeah, I mean, it's already kind of bad enough times if you're getting pelted with Zyra plants and Varus Qs, but so far they've done just a fine job there. Keith and Gate pushing the lane in, so there are extra minions that are alive for Echo Fox that may or may not be picked up here by Stixxay, but as of right now, I want to make sure the Relic Shield situation is fixed first. And we'll return. So, revisiting that level 1, out of all the setup, all the planning we talked about that went into it, this is a really good, idea here from Echo Fox, but the actual outcome was indeed a counter kill that went over to Huhi. So, not terrible for CLG, even though it is a good start for Echo Fox and very good plan. Huhi did end up getting those double buffs. So, unless his summoners are punished in the end, not too bad of a situation for them.
We'll have to look, see if the revisit does happen. We are now on pause. Gate apparently was experiencing a visual bug, so he is still getting gold. Everything is working perfectly. And we'll get back into game here. Let's actually visit the bottom lane for the first time here in this game. Like you said, not going to be the most fun matchup to play, but Keith and Gate should be able to get farm pretty comfortably here.
Yeah, and it always feels good to, even if you're a melee support and you don't feel like you have the biggest impact in the trades, he has a long-range harassment ability, plus he's got a Caitlyn by his side. Very safe AD carry, long range, able to get off some trades that other AD carries would not be able to do.
Kind of curious to see what Gate does on the playmaking side of things. We've seen, of course, top Galio able to initiate pretty aggressively and CT people up. We'll have a lot less resources to work with, but should be able to set some nice things up for himself regardless. Huhi still with those double buffs ticking away though, even on farm versus Froggen. So Froggen's doing a nice job staying afloat in the lane despite the early advantage, but it looks like Grigne will not be back for a revisit. So kind of all that early level 1 playing out in almost a trade. EchoFox up in gold still as a result. Looper actually got a nice big CS lead, like you mentioned, Kobe, kind of going all the way back to that level 1.
Yeah. And again, the end game plan was technically accomplished there by EchoFox, even though they traded kills, as Looper is still able to get harassment under the turret and constantly shove the wave with Flame Spitter. Grigne still camping up on this top side, and I really like the focused game plan. He's going to stick to it. His aim was, or was it the timing? Did it just spawn? Because he had the exact timing. It's 1 minute and 40 seconds for small camp respawns, by the way. That's how you time the second entrance for Raptors as well.
Ooh, good little stun there.
Oh,
actually, Froggen just trying to fight it out, but there's the stun. Dardoch.
Yeah,
Gets that one.
That was more than a good little move from Dardoch, right over the wall. Very fortunate positioning there because Froggen got just close enough that Dardoch didn't even have to use his flash. So now we're talking about which mid lane can get punished. Huhi summoners are back up, and Dardoch still has flash on the Gragas, so that was actually a very big play from Dardoch. Even though it was opportunistic and kind of required Froggen getting this close to the wall, that was very good timing. And Froggen does get close enough. Kaboom.
Great punish there from Dardoch. Gets the kill. I think he deserves it after such a great play over the wall.
Yeah. Also, a little mechanics there, as you saw, you know, Huhi was able to sidestep Froggen's seismic shove, so didn't even take a lot of damage in the exchange there. With that play, Dardoch has pretty much evened the game back up. Now, they still are nursing the areas where the deficits are. You know, Darshan, obviously, on the Fiora is trying to climb his way back and doing an okay job of it, but gonna have to use his teleport to get back to lane, most probably.
Yeah, Looper's still shoving these waves in. Throwing shields for both, but should have their first purchases in relatively shortly as Darshan. I'm gonna take one more wave. Try and get all these. Should be able to grab them under turret pretty easily for himself. And Looper's actually gonna roam down and get some vision. So kind of trading time in that lane. Instead of going back, he's just gonna get some wood done as well.
I like the camp here, actually, since he's got a pre-existing control ward. Dardoch wants to use his flash, but remember, Froggen still has double summoners, so who's going to outplay who here? Both junglers are there.
Moves up the hit, but he's level 6, kicks one in through the Taliyah, rocks at Froggen, moves the Q the other way, gets knocked back in by Huhi, but he's already dead to Froggen. TP's coming in for both as Dardoch now going to get chased down by the volley. Darshan joins in, Looper's here as well, now going to look to collapse as he dodges out of the way of the harpoon.
What a sick mid lane skirmish here. I love it when there are actually even resources available. Froggen early flashes Dardoch as soon as Dardoch shows, because he's expecting the body slam flash to come. Stixxay actually walking through a melee support here. Gate.
Good little damage there from Gate. Great combo actually ignites him as well. So one of maximum damage because Froggen's coming in. Keith here as well as Aphromoo's gonna go down. Never mind, Keith. He's actually gonna get the kill there onto Stixxay, and Aphro survives, but he's forced to flash out of the way.
Dardoch.
Nice aim for Keith with the Peacemaker.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, flashed on as well. Dardoch, big mistake. Does flash out of it, but didn't really need to be there.
Pretty big swing here for EchoFox as things just explode. And a little bit of a lazy trail back to the bottom lane. This Galio support pays off. Not only does Caitlyn, you know, have her CS lead, but a kill onto Keith now to accelerate the crit build. And what? Dardoch just gets manhandled here.
Just a snipe from Froggen. That is not a long-range ability, but under the shove, just gets killed by Froggen. Watch, so all the way from mid.
The reason I love this so much is because both junglers were here. Mid laners can't complain. Froggen early flashed Dardoch showing up, and because Grigne got in there first, they get the kill on the enemy mid laner, and it's kind of snowballs from there. Both teleports are answered, so even usages here. Darshan, though.
Run from Huhi, no ultimate just yet, but it's up soon. Looper still getting aggressed on Darshan. Is going for the full dive, gets the procs on the vitals. Huhi moves it back over. Darshan finds the last vital, does get the kill, but the turret's getting the trade.
Counter kill goes over there, so it is a 1 versus 1, or 1-4-1, and the mid laner out of position means Grigne can go pick up this Infernal Drake. EchoFox pushing the tempo very effectively here.
Huhi may be losing a little too much for his team on that roam into the top side. Stixxay is going to check the area, but it's just going to be him. He's on the controller. Grigne is already taking down the Drake. In fact, Grigne going aggressive. Froggen's down here. In fact, 4 members of Echo Fox are collapsing onto Stixxay. Stixxay
kick.
Only with a heal. Great Q from Grigne. Lands in on top of the knock up there from the Galio. Kicks him back into it again. Gets with the Peacemaker. What a combo from Echo Fox.
Oh man, yeah. The damage from Lee Sin, as soon as Warrior is completed and you're post level 6, definitely enough to deal with an AD carry. And since he saw that Keith already had the ace in the hole on Stixxay, he was like, yeah, no problem. I don't even worry if this kick kills you. Punts him off, dies in the air due to the shot. And what a ridiculous snowball here off the bat. I like it. Echo Fox striking back. They want to make this series go to game number 3, and they're making a pretty good case for themselves thus far.
And again, Grigne, you know, from Ivan to Lee Sin, almost a 180, I would say, as far as styles go, and playing with it so well. Aphromoo knocked back up here. Froggen on top of Workgrounder. I think Aphromoo was done for without his flash.
Yeah, pretty close. I mean, Froggen's landing some pretty good seismic shoves under that bottom turret.
It's a dangerous place to be.
Meanwhile, though, calming down a little bit with some of the river roaming. A lot of vision on the bottom side for Echo Fox, but top side pretty overloaded by CLG members as they do their blue handoff.
He's going to get spotted by Looper, but not sure he can really get involved. So he's going to go ahead and grab the buff. But Froggen, actually bottom side working on this turret, might be able to get it on this wave. I think needs a little bit more help, but I've actually swapped Keith over as just an ult on the wave there for Rumble. Looks like Looper's going to go back, or he's waiting for his jungler. Stixxay zoned away. Does give Froggen the first turret of the game. Solo gold over to him.
Yep. I mean, it's completely opposite from game number 1. Echo Fox, big gold lead early on. First turret gold here, and Infernal Drake to their names. Now let's see if they can actually bring it together. Keith is working towards his Infinity Edge next. That should be his first completed item as he heads up mid lane to help with this pressure. The rest of Echo Fox actually converging.
Froggen actually back into the mid lane, now basing, so we'll see exactly where they want to send all of their team as far as their lane assignments go.
And this is more what you kind of want to see with the first week results, right? They're 2-0, both these teams heading into this match, but a lot of people were not giving Echo Fox nearly as much credit as the other 2-0 teams, Immortals and CLG, because Echo Fox still looked a little bit slow when you get to the late game shot calling, and due to the strength of schedule, you know, there are some questions still there. So this game in particular is a good statement game from Echo Fox. You know, showing up, good early power. Grigne is in. He can play multiple styles of junglers. Question still stands for the late game, though, and we'll keep our eye on it, see how this does develop.
And pretty massive lead for Fox built up already. It's approaching 4,000 gold at under 13 minutes. And again, they're not done as far as movements go. Gate going to join up with Keith here in the top side. That looks to be the next turret that Caitlyn wants to siege down. And you've got Froggen able to pivot very quickly to lanes on Taliyah as well.
Exactly, because very often we'll see the first rotation of the AD carry and support to that mid lane, try and pressure the enemy mid laner, but Orianna has good wave clear, and Taliyah, when in the mid lane, has a lot more threat as far as being able to roam to either side.
Better access overall as Darshan does get a couple of those Krugs. Looper shooting that harpoon. He's going to get some more harass down. Darshan kind of still struggling in the early stages of the matchup.
Yeah, I mean, he has been able to get to his Hex Drinker, but he's going to have to farm it out a little bit more. You know, he's doing well in that farm objective, which is all his concentration right now, getting the last hits on all the minions so that he can still scale up, even though he had a little hiccup early on. Fiora always can rely on that scaling as far as the 1 versus 1. Rumble still, though, does have the upper hand, and a lot of wards around Looper as well. You can definitely tell that Echo Fox putting more effort into that split push with the red quadrant wards for themselves.
Battle for the Raptors ends pretty even, I think. Dardoch with a bit of an invade does take some of those away from Grigne, but Grigne with quick fingers able to auto down some of those also. As looks like Rift Herald going to get aggroed here. CLG are going to start it. First eye buffed away. But again, we'll take a decent amount of time to take it. It feels like you're pretty safe to take the Rift Herald most of the time, but you need enough time to actually get through all the health.
Exactly. Most of taking the Rift Herald is getting the eye to reopen. And that does take time because it is gated. 4,000 health left on it, though, as the rest of Echo Fox do show up. Teleport for Looper's ready, but he's pretty far away. He would have to use it.
Smites are up as well.
Making his way.
Maybe even going to have a fight for it. Grigne actually wants to take it down. Might even have 50-50. Gate going to try and taunt him away. They do get the Rift Hold, and he picks it up. Going to get knocked up by Froggen. Does flash out of the way, but Froggen is ghosting. Great snipe from Looper with the equalizer, though, and Froggen, he's not done. Grigne Gate collapsing on the top side. Tagged by Aphromoo with a resonating strike. Aphromoo is going to wait it out. Great flash for Grigne. Warthog's over. Flash kicks him back towards Froggen and Gate, but now it's 3v3 as the Zyra ult is going to knock one up. Not enough in the hero's entrance as Gate. It's way too late, and CLG are going to turn it all back around. Keith does get the snipe onto Aphromoo with ace in the hole, but Grigne caught down, is going to get killed by Darshan.
Oh, Echo Fox do get the Rift Tail. It gets a bit messy in their dive afterwards, though. And that's one of those situations where the Lee Sin flashing for a kick back didn't really gain them a whole lot, as the change in positioning for Aphromoo didn't really make his death come any quicker. And it was just the end there when Keith is able to get off his ace in the hole. Regardless, though, Echo Fox did take away the Rift Herald, and it was a 2-for-2 trade in the end. So objectives still going the way of Echo Fox, despite a little bit of a hiccup. Okay, let's take a look at this pick by Taliyah, because this is one of your favorite champions, Pastry. Froggen has his Ghost on, and he's able to nail him with the full range on Seismic Shove right there, and a quick finish by Looper. Picks it up and gives them the confidence to go for this trade. Aphromoo waits till the Q completes the flash over, good there. And then the flash from Grigne to change the distance from Aphromoo actually knocked him out of the Q, the threaded volley there from Froggen. So it delayed his death until Keith is able to secure it. And kills going over to Fiora. While it's not a whole bunch right now, every time that happens, you're a little bit worried for the future.
Oh, great Taliyah wall, but Huhi answers with a shockwave, still going to get knocked back by the shove. Gate trying to finish it off, but Keith gets the peacemaker, but Dardoch knocks him back in. Froggen does go down as Keith fighting for his life. Ultimate not enough for Dardoch. Keith still lives, and he grabs the double kill as a result.
Flash forward from Stixxay to try and finish the kill onto Keith, but Keith also using heal and flash to get out of that. And this one turned back around onto CLG. 2 members down. Huhi was walled off initially by Froggen to force that one. Whew. All this time, though, and all this action,
yeah, I mean, this
is away from Fiora.
Which is good for Darshan, certainly. Going to get himself a turret. Did pick up a few kills there, and like you mentioned, Kobe, just getting that gold. However you get it, it's not always going to look pretty, but as long as you get towards your 3 items, 2 to 3 items, Fiora eventually will take over the side lane.
Yeah, Echo Fox, though, they still have the Rift Herald, and they're starting to pull away in gold. Ocean Drake will be a nice addition to add some extra healing to themselves. And maybe they'll return to use that Rift Herald, because the 4-minute timer counts down very quickly. And you'd love to set up a play with Rift Herald rather than having to use it reactively and, maybe just getting half turret health or at best 1.
Got about a quarter or just under of the duration left, so Grigne is going to have to move it or lose it pretty quickly here. Gate down towards his bottom side, joining Froggen as Grigne is looking for the flank, tags the Krug. Dardoch, though, just going to be patient, finish that off. Stixxay, though, hitting a pretty significant amount of damage. I believe we did burn the flash, so I believe we got aggressed on 2v1. Echo Fox trying to set up a pretty cool-looking 3-lane push almost.
Yeah, Grigne is kind of hovering in the jungle right now, while Froggen and Keith laying down the fire here on the turret.
Herald, yep, is going to be unleashed, but there's Dardoch starting it off. Keith does get knocked back into Darshan. Should be able to clean that up. Grabs a shutdown for himself as he keeps getting gold.
Yeah, Grigne does pop that Rift Herald during the skirmish in bottom lane. At mid, though, it finishes it off, but it's not the biggest use, as Huhi's then going to be able to clean him up right after. So turret does end up going down, but another kill over to Fiora. Scaling intensifies.
Certainly does. I mean, 3-1-1 for Darshan. Hex Trinket and the Hydra already done. And again, Echo Fox just kind of using all their lane advantages to try and pressure every lane. I think it's kind of a greedy strategy, but the payoff can be good, and they do at least crack the mid-outer turret and make sure all of those outers are now down for CLG.
Yep, CLG are remaining with the farm for a bit later strategy. Fiora getting quite a bit more gold to her name. Once the Black Cleaver comes in and you have the extra move speed to work with, makes her extremely annoying. We'll see, though. Echo Fox, they also have very good options for 5-on-5 fights, especially in the jungle. I really love seeing the Taliyah wall comboed with the equalizer from Rumble. Especially if you fight in the jungle, you can almost guarantee a really nice lineup for that. And that itself is sometimes enough to win an entire team fight off.
Well, you can see Echo Fox actually receiving a lot of gold in the right places, I'll say. Froggen 2 items, Keith 2 items as well. And he's actually been the recipient of almost half of the kills that Echo Fox have gotten here at 5-1 and 0. So, Dardoch ultis, all right.
Pour one out for the homies as Rifthailed returns to the void.
Already went
You
down.
never know. You know, Dardoch and Rifthailed were very close.
Said that he
will miss her dearly.
Not sure. I'm going to chalk that one up to a misclick, but you never know.
Nah.
No?
That was a party. That was a party R.
Well, who's celebrating just yet? CLG behind in this game. And looking to take this one and sweep this series. Echo Foxo setting up a round Baron. Infernal Drake won't be up for a number of minutes, but
it will be up, and that's
will.
key, because as much as we talk about scaling, the time is now when it comes to Infernal Drakes. Echo Fox can utilize those very effectively. Look at the items completed. 2 item power spikes coming across here. Keith has a crit with a static shiv on top of his Infinity Edge because of all those kills you talked about. Meanwhile, Froggen already had the 2 items, and Looper is very quick to follow here. Almost can complete his Zonias to really just fill out the team fighting. Can't stress this enough for Echo Fox. They have a lot of options when they group 5-on-5, and it's up to CLG to try and keep them spread out and buy them a little bit more time.
it's interesting because Echo Fox are also using the teleport and their Taliyah global to try and pressure all 3 lanes at once. So maybe not quite confident in the full group around the objective, maybe nothing worth to fight for just yet.
A big part of, spreading out with Taliyah is prepping their closure into the 5-on-5. Push the waves up so that you can get them in position to gain advantages after the collapse, right? It's setting up for the positioning for a collapse and the possibility of catching people off guard. I mean, you're always looking for angles, right? You talk about the theory of Taliyah wall and Rumble. Oh, it sounds good.
Yep.
But it definitely takes some setup here.
Looks like again just backing off. Stixxay's reversed the wave in topside, so Froggen going to go ahead and revisit that after getting himself a blasting one. Looper still running full-time bot pressure. He's in that lane right now, getting that going, and Infernal Drake will be up in 1:25. So all that setup is coalescing into this next objective for Echo Fox, and still healthily ahead on total gold. Another Infernal Drake added to the mix will be even better for them as they look to, again, just eke out advantage after advantage and get this game to a point that CLG had in game 1, where there was really not a whole lot that Echo Fox had left to fight for.
All right, again, they shoved away with Taliyah, then go for a possible jungle skirmish here. Grigne takes a lot of damage on the exit, though.
Just poking, Ocean Drake going to start ticking in, and Fox actually starting Baron.
I like the call because they have so many control words here. And oh my goodness, that's going to make it really, really safe.
Froggen walls it off as well. Really nice stuff from Echo Fox. Dardoch just can't get in. He wants to get in so bad to try and smite it away, but that's apparent for Echo Fox.
Beautiful late game here from Echo Fox. We still had some questions concerning this stage of the game. They utilized Caitlyn traps, 3 control wards, and to top it all off, a little bit icing on that cake, Froggen gets the pick as they are doing it. Just incredibly safe Baron right there for Echo Fox, and that is definitely going to secure them the opportunity to finish CLG off. Oh my god, that was actually a full combo there. He saw him there just at the end to pull it off.
Incredibly fast reactions from Froggen as another pick gets from the start. Dardoch moved through the rocks as Gates flash taunts in and tries to nail down Huhi. Dardoch eventually goes down, but Keith took a lot of damage in the process. TP cancelled though by Darshan. Stixxay's not even here for this fight, so CLG just trying to trade.
Yeah, I mean, the teleport was also canceled there from Darshan, so CLG have very few options, and the Baroned up Echo Fox are coming for an inhibitor.
Oh, tier 2 turret in mid will fall down. Echo Fox don't need to stop anytime still. Soon a healthy amount of Baron left. Froggen and Darshan, oh, freeze each other by. Now Darshan going to start with the Vitals. Froggen flashes up, and Darshan flashes forward. Stixxay getting low, but Darshan gets the kill, but still problems in the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, they pull off the old AD carry bait as a side lane pusher, but the bait does cost them an inhibitor, and Echo Fox do not stop until they get it. CLG trying to trade, though, because they know there's not much they can do about stopping that anyway, so they try and get something back for themselves. Kill onto Froggen, plus an outer turret is a little bit of gold. Echo Fox gonna get a lot of bit of gold though.
Yeah, looks like that turret's going down. Keith able to get the last shot in with a bit of help from the Baron up minions. And Infernal Trick is also still on the table. Froggen only dead for 13 more seconds. And Darshan has to stick with his team because he doesn't have his TP. Looper, in fact, TP's in early just to make sure they get this objective.
Oh, they might actually go for a steal here.
Still 5v4 for a little while longer. Dardoch looking for something, but Keith headshot under Dardoch. There's the taunt in for Gate. He's going to try and sew it up, and a good ult. He's going to be all the way back into the team. Heroic entrance, not there in time. Stixxay able to get that kill, and Dardoch still getting chased down. Grigne does get him over the block line, but CLG blowing up people in the front line as Froggen finally makes his way down here, but Rumble already dead. Gate going to try and taunt off the Fiora, and Grigne is kiting away as best he can. Dardoch still alive though, and does spot. Body slam in onto Froggen. Stixxay now fighting it around as Froggen caught 1v3. Looking to blow Stixxay up again, but Stixxay once more with the flash outplay, and CLG kill 4 members of Echo Fox.
I hate to keep coming back to this, but more and more kills for Fiora. Darshan now with 7 to his name, and they chase Echo Fox off of the Infernal Drake after they just got the Baron. What a necessary play for CLG there.
And again, still pretty far behind in total goal, but Infernal Drake's going to feel nice for the team that is trying to play catch-up, and Echo Fox just thought they had this even 4v5.
And look at this. All eyes from CLG are on Keith. Everybody is so focused. Dardoch is the one taking the initial focus there, and he gets the ultimate. Huhi also gets his shockwave on, and Darshan immediately collapses there. Then Dardoch, even with the Q on, is able to use the blast cone over, then immediately body slam to interrupt there. And Darshan just takes it upon himself to continue the chase here and get a couple more kills. Dardoch flashes over, gets Froggen, and corners him.
And then the Froggen, nothing else he can do. Tries to take Stixxay, good flash again. And Darshan playing cleanup once more. 7 kills now. Participated in 9 of the 12 that CLG have picked up in this game.
Zion Spartan is the... Whoa!
Oh, maybe back. Good shockwave from Huhi. Looks for Keith again. Fox still had a little bit of Baron buff left on the jungler, I assume.
Froggen looking for a bit of a flank here.
He's found a flank with a flank. It's found him. Good off from Dardoch. Froggen already solo from the combo. Huhi though getting burnt down. Keith able to snipe him. Another TP in for CLG. Darshan can try and clean up once more. Grigne, the first target, moves through the rocks there as Darshan takes it down to the other side. It lips in onto Keith. Keith gets it over, but Darshan gets him. And now the fight's still going. Darshan still looking to take it all down. He's 1v2 with Dardoch barely able to help. Dardoch does take Grigne out, so he's able to contribute. One steps away. That was a weird interaction. Froggen does get the kill into Darshan, and it's another absolute mess. 4 kills for 2. Froggen gonna try and kill the last member of CLG. There's the double, and there's the ace for Echo Fox.
Holy moly, what a messy little fight there. And Echo Fox immediately strike back. What a topsy-turvy game, and they're gonna be able to get so much off of this because minions are already inside of the base. That might be the last mistake that CLG get to make in this game. Echo Fox, 1 inhibitor down, and they're looking for another inhibitor turret.
And it's scrappy, but CLG have tried to fight their way out of this deficit all game long, but Echo Fox fighting back just as hard.
Holy moly. So CLG, they were presented with a very big opportunity there and almost got baited in because Froggen walks into Dardoch and they get this great shockwave. So they only have four people here. Remember that CLG are just looking to defend until they're like, oh my god, perfect opportunity here. Froggen's almost dead, but Looper's equalizer nails 3 people under the turret and almost takes out all of CLG. So Darshan's teleport completion doesn't have very much support behind it. You can see the duo tried to come help there, but they got immediately taken down. And after that, it's just Darshan and Dardoch against the world. Then this blast cone into body slam, immediately getting away as the blue buff spawned and doesn't block him off. Was pretty ridiculous escape, even though it didn't mean much as Froggen chases him down and finishes off that kill.
Well, that was the ace for Echo Fox. Only still with 1 inhibitor down for CLG though, so Echo Fox didn't do additional damage to the structures, and Darshan still up to his old tricks. 8-2-3 on the Fiora.
He is still the hope. Like CLG's game plan is literally, Darshan, you're gonna win us this game. If we're gonna win, it's gonna be off the split push of Fiora.
Looper gonna try and answer that, but can Rumble tussle with an almost 3-item Fiora? Darshan has Those two first ones that we care about. Gonna see if we can force Looper off.
Wave clear should be the main focus here from CLG. They have to be a bit careful to be even baiting themselves in with these opportunities that are presented, kind of. Because Looper's equalizer under the turret just absolutely destroyed them.
Ooh, Dardoch again going an aggressive card to the Colossus, keeping him tanky. Ult gonna miss by Stixxay.
Pretty big. Baron is available. Every cooldown definitely matters here.
Darshan knows as well. He actually doesn't have TP, so he walks over. Is Lupin now going to have to TP, but he's pretty late. Froggen does get spotted actually by Dardoch, but there's the hero's entrance. Going to maybe cut off Dardoch, who could be caught. Shove is going to miss as Dardoch is very tanky. Now Keith, Grigne, and Looper are all caught out. He does TP in, but Dardoch is still fighting the rest of EchoFox. They're so split here.
CLG are almost 7,000 gold behind, yet they're still fighting in this and forcing EchoFox off the objective. They're going to have to get back to the base now, though. And all the vision for EchoFox through the blue quadrant's really paying off.
And the plan stays here for CLG. Darshan is like, yep, TP's up soon-ish. I'll take this turret instead. Aphro flashes in, looks for the Stranglethorns. Grigne might have got caught in the mess, but not this time.
Darshan now flanking behind them, technically. You don't really want your Fiora to enter a 5-on-5 unless people are already low. She really, even though you have riposte to rely on, you don't want to have to deal with multiple forms of crowd control, as you only get one riposte.
Yep, can't parry them all as Grigne gonna kick away his control ward in the back of the Baron pit. EchoFox are gonna start it here, so once again forcing CLG to the area.
Dardoch gets shoved in.
Comboed back in again, another great catch, he's down! That's gonna be Baron for EchoFox. CLG gonna have to try and defend, but once again Froggen walls them off. Darshan though, off on the other side, getting gatekeeper by Froggen.
I think that's it. They're gonna be able to grab this Baron. EchoFox, again, good utilization there of the traps as well as the wall from Froggen to guarantee themselves another Baron.
Oh, everyone's safe-ish. Keith! Chocolate back in by Huhi. Flashes for it, and Keith, oh, he goes down. He loses his Baron buff, and he's dead for 50 seconds.
Oh, no. You feel bad for him. He's going to hear about that. With Baron-empowered recall, still does get caught there by the flash of Huhi. And Huhi almost... Uh-oh.
Aphromoo! Oh, he gets kicked. The cube in this Grigne! Wall helps over here as entrance. Flash auto attack. He's going to get it, but Darshan might clean up the jungle. It does go down, and CLG here first. Gate 1v3 as Darshan gets shoved through a few rocks by Froggen, but Gate still so alive. Justice punch blocked by Darshan as the taunt is going to channel. Damage back in onto Darshan. Looper now here. Darshan maybe too far forward, but Stixxay takes out Gate. Looper eating so much burst damage, forced to burn the Zhonya's. It's Darshan barely living. Huhi, one auto is not enough. Needed one more. The scrap shield barely saving his life.
I hope your heart is pumping, Pastry, because this game is really getting out of hand. CLG, with these big plays that keep coming up, they will get an objective for themselves, and it's yet another Infernal Drake.
We have had the maximum number of Infernal Drakes spawn in both our games so far in the series, and it spurred on a lot of action between these two sides. EchoFox, they thought they had the pick on Aphro. They wanted to take the other Infernal and continue to snowball, but CLG foiled them again.
Oh my goodness. This was the most ridiculous interaction. Whoop, nothing to see here. Passing by, then whoops, I missed my cue. Right after the guaranteed kick, and because he had to flash for that kill, because he missed the Q and had to flash instead, Darshan goes in, he gets one, now Fiora's going off, he chases down Gate. He doesn't have another cooldown on his riposte though for the second taunt, because taunt is a much lower cooldown, so it makes the re-engage pretty tricky here. He ends up not riposting any crowd control, just the damage there, and the last auto isn't enough through the scrap shield to kill off Looper. But it is enough to force them away from the Infernal Drake and get CLG a little bit more late game insurance back for themselves, as the game plan remains the same.
It certainly does. Death Dance is done for Darshan, so he's fully equipped to really start abusing his 1v1 dueling power. Makes sense for a duelist.
And even,
like Fiora,
as we've seen, the scrappy fights. If we keep having these
true.
drawn out little skirmishes instead of full 5-on-5s, he actually has the opportunity to chase people down. Now they're going for a base race versus a Baroned up EchoFox.
Yeah, 50 seconds left or so on the Baron, so CLG gonna have to book it. There's a 5-man recall, but they're probably gonna lose this turret at least in the process.
Ay. Keeps coming through. Darshan does have teleport. Here comes CLG trying to defend the inhibitor, but all the turrets are down.
Ulti's all ready, so this could be a big fight once again if CLG want to make a stand for their inhibitors.
All right. take a moment here, account for flashes. Gate on the support Galio could be the hero for Echo Fox. If you can get a multi-man taunt flash definitely available. Oh, Dardoch goes for it though!
Find Keith again, but it's not quite enough. Stranglethorn's in as the wall's coming in for Froggen. He's trying to split the team. Stixxay, oh, it's Gates already eating damage there as Huhi able to take him down. Keith, one kill there, but the rest of them are low. Aphromoo taking damage. Keith able to take him out. Dardoch again with a re-engage, trying to find him. Keith throw. No shock dive available for Huhi. Can't finish off the carries of Echo Fox and Froggen. Another great shove. Almost takes out the Orianna also.
Look at the teleport from Darshan, though. He's sneaking in the back. There are low members. Keith was taken low. He's at half health, and Darshan's got eyes on him.
Q's gonna miss. Froggen gonna try and zone him out of the way. Keith just needs to shoot him, but the damage is coming forward. Darshan gets it as Grigne goes down, but Keith nabs the shutdown.
Looper was running interference on the rest of CLG, so Darshan was caught out by himself. And Keith is still alive. The full item Caitlyn here, finishing off the inhibitors.
3 inhibs open, so Echo Fox is just trying to get what they can. Keith using it aggressive. Takes the shockwave. Huhi takes him down, and Looper going to try and get the counter kill. Does manage to snag it. He's overheated, but there's another counter kill as Stixxay shuts down Looper.
The counter kills are coming through. And CLG defend their second inhibitor, but Froggen still wants to go back mid.
Going to try and take the other one out.
Froggen
back and forth between the top and mid. CLG hold firm. Keep 2 inhibitors alive.
Okay, now, Elder Dragon will be the next big objective. And you mentioned that we have had maximum... All right, let's look at the fight first. They try to combo the Gragas initiation there with the shockwave, but Keith gets out of it. So good reaction there from Keith to stay alive, because Keith is the one putting out the damage for the squad here. He picks up the first kill onto Aphromoo. To return for them, Dardoch tries to re-engage onto Keith there because he gets snared up, but they don't have the damage then because Stixxay was already forced out of the fight. And Huhi does get a chunk onto Keith, but that sacrifice doesn't get them a whole lot of presence in this game. Darshan then 1v3 because Looper on the bottom is forcing Stixxay away. And in the end, he goes down, getting 1 counter kill there on the Lee Sin. As you know, they're just going to keep on fighting. More kills go back. Bing, bang, boom.
All right, well, the game is back to even-ish. I'll call it. Echo Fox still with a pretty big goal lead, but 37 minutes in, with, again, mostly Darshan almost having his build fully completed. There is not much left in this game as Froggen tries to wall them off. Doesn't get anyone, though. Dardoch with a quick body slam away.
And look at this.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, we have a medium break here as we will take some time to breathe. Now,
much needed.
As crazy as this game has been, we are about to have a double objective spawn. Dragon as well as Baron coming up at roughly the same period here for both of the big neutral objectives. And you're right, we have gotten to that late game point where the variations in gold are not that big of a deal, as people are trying to keep spots in the inventory for control wards anyway, and it's so much more about the setup for these fights and people getting caught off guard, or big crowd control abilities getting through. Does the shockwave actually only hit the front line again, or does he get Keith with the tail of it? Keith right now, a lot of is on his shoulders, and he does have at least the locket and redemption completed from Gate on the Galio, even though he is the melee. Those shielding buffs do apply to his magic shield, so a little bit of synergy intact.
Yep, doing okay, but you can see Gate, he's dying so much faster in those team fights than a regular Galio, but that does mean that Echo Fox, were able to pick this Rumble and have plenty of damage. Both teams, I think, have actually got many avenues to try and find a team fight. It is interesting to see that CLG's 4, if you want to consider Darshan as kind of a separate split pusher.
Yeah, he's on another level.
Absolutely. I mean, he is playing cleanup, which you noted, which is good in certain situations. But for the most part, CLG are kind of trying to force a 4v4 team fight. And Echo Fox, I think, trying to find the pick and then unbalance it to a 5v4, because they do have teleport from Looper, ultimate from Froggen. But it's tough. I mean, credit to Keith. Honestly, this game, he's the carry as far as maximum damage goes, despite how much work Froggen's doing. And he's got no real front line.
He has by far the most gold in the entire game. Say as much as you want about Darshan on the Fiora, and he has been extremely powerful, but Keith has, over 1,500 gold more than Darshan. Like, this is a Caitlyn fully itemized for offensive use. So there's a lot of DPS threat in that Caitlyn. If Caitlyn does go down, though, that's where the team fight changes. And that's why it was so important in that last, bottom lane fight that Keith was able to get out of the shockwave and not get killed off by the Dardoch re-engage. Both teams are focusing, very heavily on that.
Well, it looks like Lupa having a mouse issue, so we'll see get that resolved quickly and back into a very tense game. 37 minutes into this one, we've had a awful lot of kills, actually, 25 to 21 in favor of FOX. And it does feel like this whole series, but especially this game, has been rather hectic.
Definitely true. Just the way we like them. 3 Infernal Drakes all the time and plenty of kills. No time to stop talking about the plays that are actually on the screen. Replays actually overlapping with live plays.
It's usually a good time when that happens. So both teams have been fighting back and forth at each other. I've been impressed by CLG's scrappiness, actually, I'll say. They kind of know that, okay,
we better get ready because we are about to head back in, buddy.
Scrap continues! Well done.
Elder Dragon and Baron very close in spawn timers. And it's all about the vision. Can they get a little bit of extra down here to try and set up the play? Right now, FOX going for the recall on gate to grab the extra refill on his wards and replenish his eye. Control wards aplenty here for Counter Logic Gaming, though, as they have plenty of their 6 slots filled.
And both sides, again, pretty much done as far as builds go. Stixxay needs one more. Actually, Huhi would have a pretty big upgrade for himself when the Rabadon's is fine.
Oh, and he's going back for it. This is actually kind of risky. They're sending Orianna back right now to finish, I would believe, that purchase, but he actually heads out. He didn't get it. He just potted up instead.
Yeah, needs to kind of be maximally strong for this fight. Does not have enough to finish that death cap, so you can still see the gold lead being relevant here for FOX. But, I mean, execution's going to be the big thing here. We've seen so many close team fights.
And again, they trap off the entrances here from the jungle. Then they have used Taliyah wall 2 times already to secure their Barons. And CLG can make the call to actually force the engage here or go for a bigger avenue. Whew. Risky play. Yep. I mean, it is in the fog of war, and we're late enough into the game that even if you see 3 members, you have to worry about 2-man Barons. Grigne being on the screen gives them a little bit more confidence, though, because there's no smite in there.
Yep, key to note, Dardoch actually kind of fainted in there, almost looked for Keith, who did burn the flash, so Caitlyn's got 1 less tool to try and get out.
That's actually huge. The fake out body slam. Keith with an itchy trigger finger. Now, Keith does also have Mercurial, but without the flash, it is going to be very difficult for him to... He gets down the trap.
Oh, he looked for it again. Froggen barely missing Aphro.
Yeah, look at that chunk in damage. That was only with 1 of the threaded volley stones hitting.
Ooh, catch on the gate, actually again, Darshan able to let it rip with the ultimate.
Equalizer.
He's still fighting away, Lupa goes in, but a great shockwave from Huhi might have just saved the fight. Does flash out of the way, Redemption gonna try and reset it, and Darshan's already down to Lupa. Lupa dropping it on Huhi, is way out of position at this stage, and Froggen on a rampage as Fox grab 2.
And they've got minions on the Nexus turret right now. They can funnel straight for the extra inhibitors. If you can collect all 3 of those, it's an immense amount of pressure. They're cutting off CLG,
though. Trying to catch some backs. Froggen again going in as Grigne does execute Dardoch.
That's going to be it. Keith is already headed into the base, and Looper stopping the back here of Stixxay. Even though he dies, Keith is on the Nexus turret.
Froggen going to catch Aphro as well. 1v1 might be won by Aphromoo. Stranglebones knocks up Froggen. The plant's not quite enough to finish it off.
Inhibitor respawn.
The super minions finally doing damage again to that turret, and Keith will be the hero here for FOX. Nexus exposed, and FOX are going to force a game number 3. Oh boy, we're in for quite the day.
Now that was an action-packed game. Whew. And Grigne on the Lee Sin. Early plays just all over the place.
And what a way to pick it up. Grigne, actually his first NA LCS win ever over CLG there on the Lee Sin. And like we said, so much kind of respect for FOX keeping him in and just kind of sticking to the plan. And he shows up, get him off Ivan onto an aggressive champion. He can certainly show up there.
Yeah, I mean, that game, that was a very quick game. Lightning fast action all over the place. CLG trying to play for late, trying to put everything they have into this Darshan split push on the Fiora, and he's racking up kills, and they're fighting back to these mid-game objectives, but Echo Fox, again, that last team fight set it up so crucially. Looper again has a big Rumble ultimate, and he definitely deserves some credit for these really crucial late game fights.
Yeah, we are going to break the game down here, so you can see the draft in front of you. Kind of a cool comp, I will say, actually, by both sides, but CLG kind of really did so much to try and get some fights in the bag. We are going to go through the fights relatively shortly and kind of show you kind of how the game unfolded. But early plan looking good for Echo Fox, most certainly. I mean, they wanted to play more aggressive. They got themselves a lead, and then this fight started.
All right, so Huhi does start that one off with the Shockwave, so that's a big cooldown that they've already used. And Darshan, you can see him split pushing still on the screen, so Echo Fox go for the Force. Dardoch, then he gets the ultimate here on Gragas, so it kind of self-baits them in because the Shockwave's already down and Darshan's not there. Yet CLG commit to it because they found Froggen in a fairly compromising position. Then Grigne kicks Darshan right next to Keith, so a little bit of a happy mistake there for CLG. He can't catch Froggen though. He gets kited out. Dardoch ends up going over the wall only to live a few seconds longer for Froggen to end up hunting him down. And a lot of these team fights were this close.
Yeah, and it looked a lot like that actually, where everyone was just kind of piling in, and despite the deficit, CLG, I'm impressed with how much they were able to come back and almost find their way back into the game. As it turns out, Echo Fox's lead was just a little too good, and then they did do a really good job playing with the tools they'd given themselves, which with what I would say was a pretty difficult comp to execute with, and kind of evolved into something like this. Although
yeah,
this was hilarious.
This was definitely one of the funnier ones as Aphromoo starts it off, walking right by Grigne, ends up flashing for it, then he ends up going down, and these are the kills we're talking about going over to Fiora, where Darshan was getting extremely fed and becoming a real problem for Echo Fox. Despite the team gold lead on Echo Fox, Darshan, because he had so much to himself on such a good scaling champion, was causing quite a few problems for that squad. In the end, not quite enough, though, as the setup for the team fight and the 5-on-5 was more critical. Echo Fox able to end it out.
And you kind of see Echo Fox, we complemented their objective focus so much with the Barons, how they're able to kind of set up and kind of build themselves a lead and then end the game. How they actually ended the game, though, we'll check out this replay here. Just getting kind of 2 picks in. They'd set up so many fights this way, and one of them kind of finally broke their way properly.
Okay, so Root is used on the gate, but Darshan commits really far onto it. He's got 3 autos. The Shockwave almost took them out, but not quite enough, and he relies on the redemption to get that return here. Looper destroys the front line. He got the kill onto Darshan. He gets the kill right there onto the extra carry. And even though the graph is all red, that was definitely one that made you sweat if you're an Echo Fox fan.
Certainly was. Froggen, though, putting up once again some pretty outrageous DPS numbers there in the mid lane as Taliyah, and kind of substituting for frontline with the Taliyah wall in that final fight, which was nice to see. So I was wondering how Keith was going to get free hits. Turns out when they're literally trapped in a cage because the rest of the team's walled off, it's pretty easy for Caitlyn.
Yeah. All right, well, this series is definitely going to go to game number 3, and I'm excited about that.
Certainly is. Meet us here in a few minutes to see if CLG or Echo Fox are going to grab the win.